Okay, if there was ever a time in my life that I wanted to watch First Take, bruh, it would be now. It would be now. Like, fucking, oh my God. I just want to, don't piss me off, Stephen A. and Max, please. Like, I need one of you guys to make me feel better about me spending $1,000 on a ticket, $1,000 on a camera, just to watch Russell Westbrook get fucked up. So please, someone make me feel better. All right, we didn't really need to see the intro. We didn't really. Okay, we don't need to hear this Wale. All right, let's just, we don't need to hear the Molly either. Let's just hop right in.
Take on this Feel Good Friday, folks. Good morning, Max Kellerman. I'm fantastic. Stephen A. is in Vegas, and listen up, people.
Sorry about the quality, guys. There's nothing I can do about it.
He's pulling a Max Kellerman here because he is going to be calling the Manny Pacquiao-Jesse Vargas fight tomorrow. Are you already nervous? Can you focus for today's show?
Well, first of all, I'm always focused on First Take. Let's be clear about that. But Max Kellerman, I must admit,
all right, let's just get into it, man.
I'm nervous as hell. I can't deny it. I'm cool now, but I'm nervous as hell about tomorrow night. I've never called boxing matches in my life. I'm scared to death, so I will be calling you this afternoon for advice, tips, and information. See, I know my place when it comes to boxing. I defer to you. Unfortunately, you don't listen enough when it comes to basketball. But there's hope for you.
How dare you? You know I always got you, brother.
No better source than this man to our left.
Oh,
we ready
man.
to get
all right,
into
let's
it?
go.
We have so much
yes,
to
please.
discuss
Can we get into
Friday.
it, please?
We good?
Please.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Come
We
on.
tipped
Come
things
on. Let's
off
go.
At the Oracle. You know what that's about. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. The verbal sparring between the Thunder and the Warriors got off to a hot start last night as the Durant versus Westbrook matchup was a lopsided affair with a unanimous decision win for Durant and the Warriors. Here's the guys after the game.
Look at the crowd. They're so happy.
In between the lines, everything all good with me. So I'm going to go out there and be who I am. You talk to me, I'll talk back. I don't really say much, but if you start, I'll finish it.
No. Trash talking. Apparently,
No,
I guess
Durant.
they talk a lot of trash now.
Fuck wrong with him, Russell.
We'll see how that goes. But, we get ready for the next game, man. It's one game, one loss for us. We move on. Get ready for the next one.
I love me some good trash talk. Stephen A., what was your reaction to it, though, last night?
Please, come on, Stephen A.
Disgust.
Thank you.
Because when Kevin Durant gets going, this is exactly what I feared. This kind of annihilation, this kind of game of horse where you're playing around with people and just toying with them. Now, I will confess this. Oklahoma City brought it on itself. When Jeremy Grant dunked in Kevin Durant's face and screamed, even I was like, who the hell do you think you are? Do you not know who this boy is? Kevin Durant is one of the top 3 players on the planet. This dude is a superstar. He's 6'11", who can shoot like Klay
Okay,
Thompson
so this shit isn't even
Steph
synced
Curry
up right.
And
What the
JJ
fuck,
Redick
man?
and cats like that. He's got a handle. He can score from anywhere. He can average 30
Hopefully I
in
can
his
find
sleep.
another video
And from
for you
that moment
guys so you don't have to watch
you
this
saw what
unsynced
happened
shit
because I
like
looked
I
at
do.
Grant. How dare you disrespect you? I mean, if Russell Westbrook said something that's different, of course. Jeremy Grant, what the hell was he thinking? I could not believe how idiotic he was because he got off a good dunk, which is 2 points, by the way.
Y'all should have saw my reaction when he dunked that bitch.
He yelled in Durant's face, and I give Steve Kerr credit from this point. Steve Kerr all of a sudden started calling Durant's number. And then the players followed. Steph Curry was getting him the ball. Klay Thompson was getting him the ball. Draymond Green was getting him the ball. And Kevin Durant was abusing Grant. He was too big for Oladipo. He was too gifted, too quick, too skilled for everybody.
Yeah, Durant was fucking everybody up in the post.
He put on an absolute show. The game was over in the second quarter, and that's when I got depressed. Because at any moment, this is what the Golden State Warriors will do to 99% of the league. That's my depression. This is what I was lamenting, Max, when I talked about him going to Golden State.
Yeah, it's not fair.
I don't have a problem with Kevin Durant leaving OKC. Totally his business. But to go to that team with those shooters, I just said to myself, this is unfair.
It's not fair. It's not fucking fair.
That's what it was. Now, OKC did bring it on itself. So I didn't feel as bad for them as to say if I would have felt about somebody else that they did that to, because there were dudes on Oklahoma City's bench, including Enes Kanter. I mean, he was talking, for crying out loud. I just
Kanter did nothing. They should have gave the ball to Steven Adams more, but anyways.
2 people on the Oklahoma City Thunder that have a license to open their mouths. That's Russell Westbrook and that's Steven Adams.
Thank you.
Everyone else on that squad should shut the hell up, be happy they're in uniform for the team, and do their jobs.
Damn.
And don't tug on the cape of an elite player like Kevin Durant. I give him credit because he didn't back down. Not only that, he stepped up, he waxed them, he bust their living butt. And they deserved it for the chirping that they were given. But at the same time, it still depressed me to some degree, Max, because it fell in line with what I said to you months ago, and I have never relented one bit. This is the problem with the regular season. It's just
boring.
an annihilation.
It's boring.
In the making.
It's boring.
Anytime OKC seems
it's
to
boring.
want to do it. I got to pray that San Antonio is going to be interesting and that the Clippers are going to be interesting, because
Not the Clippers,
just don't
no.
see anyone else that's going to be able to even be in the same stratosphere as OKC.
Only
in
the Spurs.
Western Conference.
Only the Spurs.
It depressed me to watch it, but not as much as it would have had OKC not opened their mouth. They opened their mouth, so they brought it on themselves. But still, the competition, it was just one-sided. Max, they were no match for Kevin Durant. He just destroyed them. Just destroyed them.
Were you depressed watching the Showtime Lakers?
No.
Right. Were you depressed watching the Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman Bulls?
No.
Right. Were you depressed watching the Kobe Shaq Lakers?
Max, what are you talking about?
Right.
Max, they had the best record of all time, and then they added Kevin Durant.
Depressed
about
about this super team, primarily because you view it as a character flaw, a weakness.
Here we go.
But once you get past that, we don't have to relitigate that.
Here
whole
we
thing
go,
right now.
Max.
Once
Fucking
you get
hell.
past that and just look at the team, why not just forget about how they got there and enjoy what you see? Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the greatest point guard and center maybe ever, certainly in Magic's case, and Kareem's case, I think also, ever on the same team, balling, and then you add James Worthy and a cast of characters, all-star caliber, Byron Scott, guys like that. No lamenting how great they were. You just enjoyed it. But with this team, you're so preoccupied with the process of how they came together, you can't enjoy what you're seeing. And what did you see? You saw KD, you brought it up, Jeremy Grant screamed in his face. KD was like, okay, you'll get dealt with. Kanter, talking from the bench, KD addressed that at the postgame. He said, how many minutes he played? 3 minutes? Come on. He addressed that at the postgame. KD, you said you noticed the team. Steve Kerr started calling KD's number when all that went down. His teammates started feeding him. And one of the questions about KD, in terms of the whole character stuff, is does he just want to go to a team and fit in? Like, is it really possible to not be the man? There will come a crunch time eventually. What is he willing to do? Well, they just showed you. He got emotional. The coach noticed it. The team noticed it. Feed him the ball. Feed him the ball. And how did he respond? He killed it. So you just have to get past the way it went down. The fact that one player makes one decision to make himself happy after having no say in where he was drafted, even as one of the best in the world, having to stay there for 7 years, which he did, and balled. The fact that he then makes a choice that makes him happy, just get past that and enjoy what you're seeing.
Oh,
it's a machine,
this
Stephen A.
is...
Smith. Don't you appreciate amazing basketball?
Well, let me explain something to you. There's a couple of things, and I'll get to your last point in just a minute. First of all, to address your earlier points, you brought up a couple of things that you had no business bringing up. Yes, the Lakers were formidable with Showtime. Magic Johnson was drafted. So was Larry Bird. It would have been nice, ultimately, later on, if Len Bias hadn't passed away, unceremoniously, I might add. But Larry Bird was drafted. When we talk about Michael Jordan, we talk about a guy that was with the same organization who drafted him, that came up and built up. In the meantime, the roadblocks were initially the Detroit Pistons, the Boston Celtics, etc. And, of course, Showtime. When Showtime was dominating the Western Conference because of Magic and the collection of talent they had with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and others, there was a level of physicality that was associated with the game where you knew that they could be beat up. And as a result, you wondered to some degree whether or not that would derail them. Ralph Sampson, Akeem Olajuwon, the Twin Towers
Moses Malone
had derailed them. Had derailed them 1 year, Moses Malone, et cetera, et cetera. What I'm saying to you is that because of the way the game was, you still had to be, even though they were favorites, you knew that they could
and not to mention,
the
Warriors had the best record of all time.
I'm going to the Bulls. When the Bulls had won the title, if you recall, Pat Riley's initial year there, Anthony Mason and the Charles Oakleys with the Ewings, the Xavier McDaniels and those guys, they took those dudes to 7 games because the physicality of the sport and the way that it was allowed you not to have to meet them eye to eye talent-wise because there were rules that facilitated you compromising their talent. In today's game, you could get a technical foul for having bad breath, for crying out loud. So as a result, you can't really touch these dudes.
That's true.
I get it. Your perception is that by today's rules, a super team like Golden State is so lopsided in terms of talent, no one else has a chance. And that way, somehow it makes it different. But your first point was they were drafted. And that's my point. When a system, when a good GM puts a team in place, there's no complaints. I guess because everyone's staying in their lane. But when someone does something that people perceive as not staying in their lane, like God forbid a player should take his destiny into his own hands and say, I'd like to be on a super team, even if a GM can't construct it for me.
Well, what happened when LeBron? Oh my, Max, I'm about to literally.
Only if the GM puts it together?
That's the part that I'm trying to go to for you. Something happened to me last night. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If that Kevin Durant shows up in the postseason and Golden State is winning the chip, I got nothing to say. That's not a dude riding somebody's coattails. That's a superstar letting you know he's a superstar. That dude that showed up last night literally quelled to some degree my disgust, even though I'm still disgusted.
No.
You know, because I don't want to. I want to see competition.
Now Stephen A.
I don't want to see an annihilation. I must confess to you, watching that KD last night, please understand, Max, that's not something we've seen from KD often. I'm not talking about
I brought it up
because he always done that. I'm talking about mouthing off, guys challenging him, shutting him down.
Let me just point something out. Let me point something out.
He's top 3 in the world. That's a different ballgame.
I understand what you're saying. I know what you're saying in terms of the feeling he's giving you that he'll take over. But really what you're doing is insisting that your personal preference for hero ball in this case is more important than team ball that will actually win. In other words, if Golden State Warriors just win and he's just a cog in the machine, that somehow gives him less credit for you than if his teammates are like, let's feed him and he'll play hero ball.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I have a question.
It doesn't
he
even
doesn't want to. He wants to fit in.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Are you entitled to feel a certain way?
Sure.
As a pundit, as a commentator, do you feel that you have the right to feel something when you're watching an Odell Beckham Jr., a Betances with the New York Yankees, because you're a Giants and a Yankees fan, whatever the case may be?
Now. Yeah.
Are you entitled, Max Kellerman, to actually feel something from the crevices of your soul?
Sure.
Are you?
Yes.
Then what the hell are you bothering me for what I see? I want competitive basketball.
That was a good rebuttal. 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 That was a good rebuttal.
Two senses. In one sense, you want close games, right?
I want stars colliding. I don't want stars aligning. I want stars colliding.
Thank you.
I want to
Thank
see
you.
who's the man.
Thank you.
That's what I
Thank
want.
you. Thank you.
In Kevin Durant's case, you want it to boil down to a hero ball competition between him and LeBron James. And truth be told, so
please.
do I. I'd love to see
You
them
did it
go back and
scientific.
forth in the finals and it come down to Durant and LeBron. But maybe Durant's preference, which has been my point all the time, is I don't want, like, that's a world I'm not trying to live in.
Well,
maybe
wait a
that's
minute,
a world
wait a minute.
Westbrook's
But I'm not
trying to live
asking
in.
you about
Let me go
Durant's
with this
preference.
team.
See, that's a stop.
Let me go with this team.
I'm not asking you about Durant's preference. I'm
fit
asking
in
about
and
yours.
win.
I'm asking you about yours. Your preference, man.
Right.
Don't give me what Kevin Durant's preference is. You ain't him. Let him speak for him. What the hell do you want to see?
My preference is for
do
Kevin.
Do you want to see stars collide, or do you want to see them aligning with one another and blowing everybody out?
Sure,
what do you want?
But I don't want to tell a star the kind of star he needs to be. If Kevin Durant wants to be the kind of star that would fit in well in San Antonio, he just happens to be playing in Golden State, that's his business. And if he can win that way, great.
Okay.
Now, ultimately, will I give him as much credit as I give LeBron? No. But that's the path he chose. I'm never going to say he's better than LeBron because he did it that way.
So Quiet Boy Kellerman just doesn't want to have a problem with anything. He wants to get along with everybody.
Problems with plenty of things. I have problems coming up right now in this show.
LeBron could be a free agent. Hold on. LeBron could be a free agent next year, you know, in a couple of years. What if LeBron just sat up there and there was room, and LeBron just said, you know what, I want to go to Golden State with Steph, Clay, and KD.
He kind of did that already,
You gonna like
Stephen
that
A.
too?
He kind of did that
too?
Yo, I'm about to. Yeah, I'm literally Max. He kind of did that already, Max. He did that. He kind of did that. Max, did you just say he kind of already went and joined the team with Curry, Durant, Thompson?
Kind of do that. He did not.
Max, I'm about to.
Please,
Gentlemen, enough.
Chris Bosh don't belong in this conversation, and I like Chris, but come on now.
All right.
He don't belong in this conversation.
We got to go to break. I see stars colliding every morning right here.
Okay, all right. That didn't help me. That didn't make me feel better at all. Fucking had the show. Oh, I really wanted to see Westbrook go in there and go crazy. Okay, that's disappointing. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new to me on Instagram on it. Fuck you, Max. Every time you just piss me off. Stephen A., you didn't do a much better job either. Fucking hell, man.